All right, everybody, welcome to our final track of content for the day today. We've got Mr. Nate Hamilton, who's the ecosystem lead over at Moonbeam. He's going to talk to us about bootstrapping an interoperable ecosystem in Polkadot. Let's get right to it. Nate, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it. It looks like I'm batting cleanup today, so I'm the last one to go. So thank you for everybody who stuck around to hear me out. It was certainly a good conference today. Some great speakers, some great panels, all that kind of stuff. I think I was on the first one earlier, and now I'll go last today. So wanted to talk a little bit about. I will go ahead and close my video and shut it off so we can see it. Perfect. And so wanted to go ahead and talk about Moonbeam a little bit. Thanks, David. And bootstrapping an interoperable ecosystem on Polkadot. And so I want to take you back a little bit in terms of how we viewed Polkadot early on, and really what we thought about while building the network. And so I don't, obviously this is a Polkadot focused conference, so I don't need to describe Polkadot, but I think when we meaning Pure Stake started getting engaged with Polkadot in late 2019, I think we believed in the fact that there was going to be a multi-chain future, and in our view, that kind of led you down two paths. It was either Cosmos or it was Polkadot, and we felt that the shared security model and the architecture that Polkadot would bring was very impactful and was going to be something that would really help us scale and grow. And we really believed in the specialization of blockchains. And so we sometimes, and I think I mentioned on my panel earlier, that like when you think about Moonbeam, folks say, well, it's just like general purpose. And yes, but that is a specialty. Like our specialty is the EVM. And so we long term see there being a ton of value in the ability for teams to specialize and focus on certain aspects of what they want to bring as their own independent blockchain, so that long term we can leverage things on different parachains to create truly decentralized applications that are getting best of breed from these parachains. But we wanted to step back a little bit and think about how do we Moonbeam get our ecosystem going with it was still very limited at that point. And so we looked at it as, okay, well, we've got the EVM, so what do we need to kind of build on top of that? And we thought about kind of two different types of users and two different type of builders that we wanted to attract. On one side, it was teams who are targeting what we call an EVM targeted multi-chain approach. So if you look across the crypto ecosystem right now, you look at AVAX, BSC, Phantom, ETH, obviously. All of these, the thing that kind of ties them all together is this EVM. And so you see folks like Sushi who've gone to, I think, like 15 different ecosystems, because the EVM enables them to kind of wash, rinse, repeat, and now they can access a new ecosystem, new users, new assets, things along those lines. So that was kind of one approach that we focused on from a user perspective, and from a developer perspective was we wanted to provide a place where teams could now access the Polkadot ecosystem by connecting to Moonbeam, and provide a place that was really easy to do that. The other side of it is teams that wanted to be Polkadot native, and they see the value in what Polkadot is building, and they want to think about, how do I build applications that can span other parachains, and how do I be part of this ecosystem without necessarily being ready to build a parachain or having the expertise to build a parachain today. And so we've seen a lot of teams that have come to us, especially over the past 6 months to a year, that are wanting to just be native. And so we give them the EVM to be able to be a native Polkadot team, though they're living on Moonbeam. And some of these teams, we do talk about the ability, it's almost like a natural upgrade path that we would love to see teams that are building with us today, building on Moonbeam, say, hey, look, like I've gotten so much value out of this Polkadot ecosystem, I want to build a parachain, and we're gonna build a parachain in parallel, and we'll eventually move our assets and kind of users over there. That's great. That's the kind of thing where we want to foster an ecosystem of collaboration, and we want to The more high quality teams and parachains that there can be, the better it is for the entire ecosystem. So we do see there being a ton of value of having native teams building with us, and some in the hopes of potentially being a parachain one day. So, what were the things that we kind of thought about when it was like, okay, well, how do we create this interoperable, ecosystem? And, one is obviously the Ethereum compatibility. And, one of the things we talked about on the panel earlier today was, it's not just the ability from an Ethereum perspective. It's not just the ability to get like Ethereum devs who can write Solidity to come build on Moonbeam. It was also, okay, well, the EVM has this entire tech stack built around it that we need to support, because getting developers to come just write Solidity here is one thing. They're going to need all these tools around it that is going to make them successful. So on the right side, if you take a look at the top, you look at indexing solutions, great, Graph, Covalent, both of those we work closely with and are supported. You look at wallets today. Obviously, MetaMask has a large user base. They were kind of the original, but we continue to see new wallets come into the ecosystem all the time, and we're excited to see some of the Polkadot native wallets that are getting built come in, and we're going to be supporting them. You look at block explorers, great. We have an Etherscan deployment. This was something that we kind of came to as we were starting to build and talk to teams that, look, you just need, like everyone uses Etherscan. So we went to them and started working with them. And it's one of those things that we maybe at the time didn't realize how important it was, but it's super important. Moving kind of down, you look at Truffle, Remix, Hard Hat. These are development framework tools that devs expect to be there. And then last but not least is things like Chainlink and Band, where it's Oracle support. And so pulling all of that together, those are really, from our perspective with the EVM, it's really helped us be successful so far, is that, we've kind of gone out and done all of this infrastructural laying so that all of these tools work seamlessly on Moonbeam and Moonriver, so that when teams come in, they're able to build in the way that they're used to building and comfortable building. And then on top of that, it helps them start to interact with other teams that are building in the ecosystem, because it's very straightforward. They understand contract to contract calls, how everything can kind of layer on top of one another. It does really help the ecosystem, build organically together. So, we've been at this for coming up on 2 years from a BD perspective. We've been out there really talking to teams and evangelizing the message about Moonbeam and making sure that we kind of have our ear to the ground as to where things are going, and making sure we're engaged with teams that want to come build and expand to the Polkadot ecosystem, expand to Moonbeam, and bring more value to the entire ecosystem in general. So we feel like we've done a pretty good job. Certainly the job's not over. We're going to continue to add on top of this, but we do strive to create an ecosystem that is one that is extremely collaborative, extremely open. And it's great to see that teams who may even have some overlap in terms of what they do, we do see really good collaboration internally to the Polkadot ecosystem, and even to the Polkadot Moonbeam ecosystem, but even to the Polkadot ecosystem as well. Because at the end of the day, we need to do a really good job of being collaborative to grow Polkadot, to get new teams in here, whether it's on Moonbeam, whether it's on A-Star, whether it's building a parachain. We need to get more teams in here, more high quality builders, to continue to build this value of Polkadot, and that'll be driven to the parachains as well, as long as we can continue to execute. So one of the last slide I wanted to chat about was really about where we see Moonbeam kind of going moving forward, and this has really been driven by some of the conversations that we're having with teams today. Is we see in the past it was a mono chain deployment, right? Teams were just deploying to Ethereum, and that's where they lived. Over the past 2 years, when we've started having these discussions, it was really about, okay, this cross-chain deployment. Moonbeam will be one of many deployments, and that's great. And it's kind of like they've built it in a mono-chain setup, but now they're just expanding to have these kind of satellite instances. Now, what we're seeing it's really been the past 3 months, we're starting to talk to teams who are saying, hey, look, like, Now I want to build something that's natively multi-chain, and so we're leaning into those use cases heavily, and we're working with a couple that I think there'll be some highlights coming out in the next couple months about is that these teams haven't launched yet. They're the build phase. They want to launch on 2-3 different chains at the same time, and so it's not this like mono chain deployment with these outposts. It's truly like a decentralized application that is living on different chains, but able to talk to each other in different ways using different kind of message passing. So these are, this is what I wanted to leave you with. This is where we see kind of Moonbeam going and the ecosystem going, is moving from, just deploying on one chain to these native multi-chain teams who, we see Moonbeam as a great place to build, and we're going to continue to, expand those use cases and, make sure that we foster innovation as well as collaboration in the Moonbeam and Polkadot ecosystem. So again, this is the last one. I'm not going to keep, it's getting late for a lot of folks here, so I don't want to keep anybody any longer, but thank you for coming, and, Equilibrium team, thank you for putting this on. Thank you for having us. And, I will hand it back to Dylan.
Thank you, man. And thanks everybody for tuning in and joining us all day here at Polka DeFiance. We've got just a little bit of housekeeping to tend to before we properly shut this thing down. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do any AMA stuff. We're out of time for that. But that said, we still want to make sure you get your questions answered. So if you have questions for any speakers that you've seen today, please just leave a little note in the chat. We will be able to collect these questions after the fact. And where will we answer them? On our social media channels, our community channels. So be sure to join the Equilibrium Telegram channel. Be sure to follow Equilibrium on Twitter. You can ask questions there as well. We'll, of course, get a response. But if you really want to see other people get their questions answered in the process, really join the Telegram channel. There's basically a 24-hour Q&A going on in there. What else to cover? We want to mention one more time that we've got this collaboration with Republic.com. Coming very soon to your email inbox after this event will be some details about how you can register for an upcoming public offering event that will happen next month in May. The entry investment there is $500, and coming soon to your email inbox will be some details about how you can participate and earn some bonuses along the way. So with that said, thank you for watching and listening. Leave your questions in the chat, or just join the Equilibrium community and we'll get all your questions answered. Thanks for watching Polka Defiance, and we'll see you next time.